Hello and welcome to this bonus episode of the Gazette's Hockey Inside Out show. I'm Stu Cowan of the Gazette, and I'm joined by my regular partners here, former Canadiens teammates and 1986 Stanley Cup champions, Rick Green and Chris Nilan. Rick, the Atlantic Division standings are so tight. A couple of wins, you move up. A couple of losses, you drop out of the playoff picture. The Canadiens have been hanging in there. If, at the end of the season, if they were to miss the playoffs, how much would that hurt this Canadiens rebuilding process moving forward?
I don't think it will hurt. If anything, it'll be an education. When you look at the youth of their group that are having an opportunity to experience what they're experiencing, they have gone through some interesting times from, losing streaks and not playing that well to playing really well, getting some wins. So they're really getting a good feel of what it's all about in the NHL, how long the season is, how it can change from game to game. And if anything, each and every one of these guys is learning to adapt to adversity and make sure that they understand how they need to play each and every night. And I don't see it as a negative if it did play out that way, other than it's an experience. They're going to learn from it, and they're going to put it in their memory as good and bad. And they're got a group that really seems to be close and thrive on doing what they have to do for each and every guy in their group. And it's nothing but good progress moving forward. And, every experience is a good experience.
What do you think, Knuckles?
Listen, it wouldn't be great for them to miss, but if you look at the overall picture, like you said, and you look at how tight things are, it's really, there was parity, but this year it's totally different. It's like, man, everything is so tight. So, it wouldn't be the best thing, but listen, they have a great core here. So it's how do you support that core and turn this into a Stanley Cup contender and being a consistent playoff maker and doing damage in the playoffs. And those are the players. You seem like you have that good core now that, you look at the guys at the top, in Suzuki, Slafkovsky, Demidov, Caulfield. You got guys that can put the puck in the net and they're scoring goals. Now you need the complementary guys. And listen, they have some now. But let's see how they do in the playoffs and see if you have to make adjustments after this year. So, they have a great core, and they have a shot at this thing for a while now. But the decisions on how to improve this team and how they're going to do it moving forward, I don't think they're happy where they're at right now, but I don't know how content they are. And we'll see moving forward. But you got to have that team that's able to do damage and last, and be standing at the end in the playoffs.
Yeah, when they started this rebuild, the plan was not to have a team to just get in the playoffs and anything can happen. With Mark Bergeron's old line, it was to build a team that could not only get in the playoffs every year, but compete for the Stanley Cup for an extended period, 5, 6, 7 years in a row. Rick, the game against Vegas, this it's easy to forget how young the Canadiens are. Youngest team in the NHL. I admire Marty St. Louis because he won't use that as an excuse. Anytime he's said to him, well, you guys are young, he says, it's not an excuse. We're young, but guys have a lot of experience. The game against Vegas, when they had the 2-1 lead going into the third period, I thought they played a very mature game, even though Vegas came back and tied it up. Smart puck movement, dumping the puck in deep. What signs of maturity do you see in this team moving forward?
Well, I think that they're learning. They've had good success playing against some of the Western teams, which are big and gritty. I think that looking at their overall game against Vegas, they did have some trouble containing them. They've got good size and strength. Vegas does, with some pretty good players. I think that if I have one concern, moving forward here, is making sure that they really shore up that defensive zone play down the stretch here, where one-on-one battles are going to be critical, and positionally is going to be very critical in making sure that they don't give up some bad situations, and I think that they're learning still, but I'm a little concerned about their inability to contain teams that are very, very good on cycling, that are big, and it's going to be a challenge for them to respond to that, down the stretch here.
Knuckles, one of the things that's impressive most with this team is just they're resilient, right? They don't give up. They're down 2 goals, they come back. Against Vegas, they played, they say, a mature game, and then Vegas gets that deflection goal. They manage to come back and win in overtime. What impresses you most about the team as a group?
Yeah, they've been resilient, no question. They don't lay down when they're behind. They keep going after it, and I give credit to the coach there, the way he handles a lot of these things. He's not perfect. He's not gonna be, but boy, he got a great relationship with his players. The players respect him. They listen to him, and they play for him. And they play as a group too, which is good. Again, I agree with Rick about shoring up, and we've talked about this with this team from the get-go, is shoring up their own end of the rink and taking care of their own end. That's so key in the playoffs, right? Any time of year it's key, but playoffs, man, you can't afford to make those mistakes in your own end of the rink. Guys are gonna, but you gotta limit the amount of mistakes, and that's something that'll, when they get that and they have that down to a really good defensive team in their own end, then they have that potential to move ahead in the playoffs. There's no question.
Going back to the golf tournament, Rick, when Jeff Gorton met with the media, he said it wouldn't be a disappointment if they missed the playoffs this year. They obviously want to get there, but he said it wouldn't be a disappointment. When you heard that back then, do you think that was the right message to send? And do you think that management really does believe that?
I'm not sure if it's a message well sent. I mean, everybody plays the game to have some success. Everybody wants to get in the playoffs. Once you get in the playoffs, it's a whole different world. But strange things can happen. I mean, we've seen it. History will speak for itself on that. You have to challenge your group that almost getting the job done is acceptable. I think that you have to keep your foot on the gas to make sure that you push to give yourself every opportunity to get in the playoffs. And from the get-go, I think ultimately the players, and especially the ones that have experienced some success in the past, want to taste that again. And there's no better place than to be in the playoffs with the Montreal Canadiens.
Knuckles, you think these guys get in the playoffs?
Yeah, I do. I didn't think, I said this year I didn't think they were going to make it. I said that last year, too. Again, they made it on the last day of the season last year, and they had a hell of a run down the stretch. There's no question. And they got in the last day. Because I said this last year, they weren't going to make it this year. I made that adjustment. I thought they would make it this year after what they did last season and what the development I saw. I thought it might take a little longer, but I think they're in this year for sure. Will they take it a step further this year? Remains to be seen. That's going to depend on defensive play and goaltending come playoff time.
Yeah, I think goaltending a big question moving forward. I think if they can just get decent, I see them getting in the playoffs if they get decent goaltending. Rick, what do you think?
Yeah, it all starts back there. Said it over and over again. You got to have your goaltender being your first star each and every game, and like I said, things get really tough down the stretch here and get even tougher in the playoffs. So you got to have your goaltender being your first star as much as possible to give yourself a chance to advance.
You think fans would be really upset, Knuckles, if they don't get in?
Yeah, but I think the development of the team and what they've seen overall from this team, that they know it's coming and eventually it'll be here. But yeah, I don't see it happening. But the fans have been really patient. There's no question over the years here, seeing this young team come along. They're an exciting team. Let's face it. When you're going into the building and you're able to see a guy like Hudson, Suzuki, Caulfield, Demidov, hello, those are exciting players to watch, right? And you're in for a treat on more nights than not. So that's a good thing.
Yep. Win or lose, this is a fun team to watch, and it'll be a lot of fun to watch if they do get into the playoffs, and I think we all think that they will. Anyway, that's it for this bonus episode. We'll have another bonus, excuse me, one more bonus episode coming up over the next few days, so you can look through that. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the Hockey Inside Out YouTube channel, and in case you didn't already know, Hockey Inside Out is now available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.